TASI Bank instead of TASI Bank.
Mr. Alan Gaul.
Yeah, baby. See, I'd flex too, but the sleeves already fell off. You know what I mean? That's a pretty You with the hand motions, I feel like, my Italianism is rubbed off on you. Look, I'm trying not even to talk with my, hey, capiche. Right on your heart, baby. Right
I don't know
there.
if you guys can see it, but I rep it proudly. I rep it. Oh, my bad. Alex. But one good thing you could say is my communication skills were really good.
And welcome back to Making Waves, your TASI Bank podcast. My name's Alan Gaul. I am the Vice President of Marketing and Brand and your host of the podcast. Today's guest is Darren San. He's one of the boys of summer. He's actually the third summer intern that we're going to interview. Darren, let's kick it off. Tell us a little bit about yourself besides all of your abilities to pose.
Besides looking good, hi guys, my name is Darren. I'm currently attending San Jose State University, going into my second year for software engineering. So my favorite artists right now are Travis Scott and SZA. One fun fact about me, other than that, is that I'm probably the most handsome boy of summer that you will ever see during my time at TASI Bank.
I love that. I love that because you got Maddie, that's Matthew Pierce from Purdue, and then Eduardo Rodriguez Eddie from San Francisco State. And you guys actually had formed a pretty good camaraderie. There was actually a pretty cool social media post with you guys, which was pretty funny. Darren, so what was unique about you is when I first met you, I kept calling you Daryl. And then you were gone for 3 weeks. And I was shocked that an intern can show up and then leave for 3 weeks. So where did you disappear to for 3 weeks, Daryl?
I mean, thank you, Al. Oh, my bad, Alex. But one good thing you could say is my communication skills were really good, and I communicated that a few months in advance, and they somehow let me into the internship still. But I went to Taiwan, Vietnam, Hong Kong, as well as Macau. I had a spectacular time, let me tell you.
Nice. I heard you had a great time. I think I saw you right when you got back, right? I think it was one of several lunches that we've gone to together, right?
I mean, all the lunches you've taken me on have been great. It's hard to remember.
Oh, so here's the deal. That's usually the last question for the interns, so we're going to put that as the last question. So let's jump into work. Tell us what you've been doing a little bit since you got back from your Asia Pacific vacation or your whirlwind tour with the boy band or whatever you were doing.
I mean, what I've been doing coming back is I came back to 2 different projects. So on the SF operations side of TASI Bank, I've been working on curating a lot of cold call forms and putting together a cold call master sheet, as well as organizing all the cold calls so that SF operations, besides helping out customers, can start reaching out to different possible companies or entities so we can start bringing in revenue for TASI Bank, besides, having loan support being the main source of income.
All right,
And
so well, you have to, so the loan support, wow, I love it that Virol's going to get credit for bringing in the income. Hitesh is going to be irritated. Biz Dev, I think, has a little to do with bringing in. It's Biz Dev, yeah, Biz Dev brings in the dough, bro, as the young, cool hipsters say. Let's see. So you worked in operations. So that was you worked in digital banking, and I know you worked with Shirley as well, Shirley Kittigwa, who's the VP of branch operations. Then you split your time, and you went over to where'd you go? You went over to Biz Dev, right? Or did you go to loan support?
It was loan support. It was with Renee and Jackie.
Okay. All right. So Renee Obispo and Jackie Diaz. So you spent time in loan support. Did you do any time in Biz Dev?
I don't believe so.
Okay. You would have remembered for sure. But you did do a project for me in marketing.
Should we expand on that?
Well, shall we? I mean, it was a fun project. So a lot of people don't know, or maybe they do know, that we're cannabis bankers. and I was looking for some information. We're not going to go too much detail on it, but you can, yeah, you could expand on what you did for the cannabis project.
Yeah, I was paired up with Matthew Pierce, the other intern, and we always gone to a little room after
You know
lunch.
what I should call it, you guys? I was referring to you guys as the twins because you're working on this project for me, but it is a cannabis project, and it was just the two of you. I should have called you guys the Doobie Brothers. I missed it, man. I missed a good opportunity there.
There's always next year. There's always next year.
You were telling me about expanding on the project that I had you on. It was a cannabis project. Um, you and Matthew Pierce were working on it.
Yeah, so Alan kind of just told us, hey, we kind of need to be a little bit more, I would say, competitive with the rest of the market. So I'm giving you guys a task. Go out and go do a little bit of secret research. Was it secret
Uh,
shop? Secret
I
shopping?
would say you could do some competitive analysis.
Competitive. He told us to go out and do competitive analysis. And so after lunch every single day, we would go into a little conference room, bring out our little notebook, and say, we should hit up this entity, we should hit up this person, try to get some information out of them, and then we would pose. At the beginning, it was real challenging because they would ask us for more information, and we would be like, we are a dispensary located out of East Bay or whatever. But after maybe like 5 calls, we got it down to a T. We're a up and coming dispensary. We're just calling around to different maybe financial institutions or whatever, and we're just trying to, how do you put it, compare our options so that when we're ready we could go into it, and we're only looking for one retail license, but we're also open to maybe obtaining a few more.
And you learned a lot through the process because you had started off this podcast by saying you were working in operations, and one of the things they had you working on was doing a pre-call worksheet, right? So you were able to take advantage of a pre-call worksheet that you had already done, so that made you prepared to make the calls, even though you weren't prepared for some of the responses you received and some of the actions that you and Matthew were going to have to take. So you guys were pretty, very good, I think, at pivoting. And at the end of the day, I think you delivered a really good project. Or excuse me, the outcome of the project was awesome. Wow. You flex any harder, man, those shirts are going to rip, and we're going to have to. Is that and you're wearing the TASI Bank company uniform shirt. Good for
Right
you.
here, TASI
Yep.
Bank.
Right on your heart, baby. Right
I don't know
there.
if you guys can see it, but I rep it proudly. I rep it.
All right. So your last day's on Friday. Give me
Unfortunately,
3 things that you learned from TASI Bank. Just 3 quick things.
3 things I learned from TASI Bank. One of the biggest things that comes to mind, first of all, is it matters where you work. Like, I'm going into software engineering because initially I just want the most money, but being in TASI Bank, I've learned that it's not the money that makes a job, it's the people. I've met amazing people like Alan over here. I've met, my other interns, Shirley, just to name a few, Dave Hovis. The environment here has been really welcoming, and I love the community here at TASI Bank. But a few other things is communication is key. The only way I got this internship, like even at the beginning, was that I was able to communicate that I was going on a little vacation, but I was dedicated to pursuing this internship and pursuing this opportunity. And when you're working on different projects with different timelines and deadlines, it's important to communicate what type of work you're expecting to get done, when you're going to get it done, if you didn't get it done, how you're going to get it done, and by what time as well. Because, even with 3 projects, I was swamped, I feel like, for the past like 2 weeks. I have to work on operations project. No, but Renee needs me to do this, and then she needs me to do this, and then this. But I still have operations project, and that affected me all throughout the past few weeks. But just thinking
Well,
about it.
you did have to learn patience and flexibility because how
Yeah.
many times did you and I try to even just do this podcast interview because my schedule, your schedule, we had some technical difficulties. But what you said was very eloquent and well put. I don't want to be remiss. I want to do a shout out about First Graduate. That's a pretty you with the hand motions. I feel like my Italianism has rubbed off on you. And look, I'm trying not even to talk with my hey, capiche. Uh, but no, let's talk a little bit about First Graduate. Shout out to First Graduate. Great program here, local in San Francisco. And I'm going to let you take it over from there and be the spokesperson and give a 30-second elevator pitch on First Graduate and why it's so important to you and why it was so cool for TASI Bank.
So, First Graduate is a nonprofit in San Francisco focusing on bringing first generation children, so children of immigrants, bringing them all the way from middle school all the way to college and beyond. And so they recruited me back when I was a little middle schooler, and they've been helping me throughout all the college process, getting through high school, getting me tutors, even in college right now, in order to have the best success that I can have and graduate college and hopefully get a job right after college. But they've been a great support system so far, and they're the ones that hooked me up with this internship. And so, big shout out to First Graduate. If you're a first generation immigrant watching this, you're in middle school, try and reach out to them. And if you have any other internship opportunities too, if you're watching this, please reach out to them. They'll be able to connect you with a whole lot of different high schoolers, college students, a whole wide array of lovely people like me.
So, do you have a website for First Graduate? Is it First Graduate? Should we look it up real quick? Who's quicker
It
on
should be
the?
firstgraduate.org, I believe. Yeah, I just referred a person to their
Yes, I've
website
got
because they came to me and they
firstgraduate.org.
said I have a little
So,
internship regarding civil service. Yup,
yeah,
right there.
so I looked it up right there. First Graduate, FIRST graduate.org, O-R-G. That's a cool organization. It was a cool story. I know that I have a relationship that started with them, so we'll be reaching out to First Graduate. And actually, we got a survey to have to fill out on you, Mr. San. I can't wait to fill that one out. So I think we covered a lot of ground. So my last question with the other two interns were, you mentioned the culture, and we love to. I mean, and you talked about it, right? You worked really hard. You were kind of overwhelmed at times, juggling 3 different projects. Just what you were going through. But we also celebrate and have a lot of fun. And I know that you guys got spoiled and were taken out to a lot of lunches. And I'm just trying to think because you and I didn't cross paths all that much, but we were you helped out on a women's conference. You got a great lunch on that conference, as I remember. Were you there? You were there, right? Oh yeah, people. You know what they were saying? Well, we'll get to that.
What?
My last thing for the interview. So we were talking about lunches. Were you at the women's conference? Were you at the women's conference?
I don't believe I was.
And you weren't at the golf tournament, correct?
I was at the golf tournament though.
You were at the golf tournament. You weren't at the women's. Okay.
The
So
TASI Bank Invitational, correct?
that's correct. Hey, shout out for the TASI Bank Invitational. You know why they call it the Invitational? You have to be invited. There's a lot of people that want to play in this thing. We were up to 84 golfers, and I'm getting emails. I got like 5 people saying, "Hey, can we, get on your list?" I'm like, "You have to be invited." So we'll see who they are and if we invite them back. Shout out to Micah Copeland if you're watching this. Micah Copeland is in New York, Brooklyn, New York. And that guy gets a lot of our swag somehow. I'm not sure, but he gets a lot of our swag and he wears it and reps it, and sent in a bunch of stuff to our hashtag TASI Swag International. And so yeah, he's been repping a lot of the swag. And I was going to say something about swag at the end of this, wasn't I? What were we going to talk about with the swag?
Think deeply about it. We love swag around here.
I don't know about that, but we'll talk about the lunches. So, who has taken you out to lunch the most at TASI Bank during your entire time?
If I had to name one person and one person only, it would be Mr. Alan Gaul.
Yeah, baby. See, I'd flex too, but the sleeves already fell off. You know what I'm saying? Darren, it has been a true pleasure getting to know you. I know that you are local in San Francisco. Well, you're in San Jose going to school down there. But you're close enough that every quarter when we have our staff meeting, would love to have you come in and would love to have you on a guest as on a podcast just to keep posted on what you're doing school-wise and where the education's bringing you. I know that you're doing the IT stuff. Yeah, you know, IT, right? That's what you said. Did you say IT? You don't want to be an idiotic technician dealing with ineffective technology, IT, right? So you need to think about that. That was an intellectual joke and you didn't graduate yet.
I was
But
going to say, TASI Bank has a lot of, we have a lot of IT issues. Maybe one day, I'll come back. I'll come fix it all. I'll come fix it all. Trust me.
well, I love it that you keep saying TASI Bank, and I keep talking about our swag because there was somebody of your generation in the Micah Copeland arena that said our swag is so cool that we should rename the bank Saucy Bank instead of TASI Bank.
Damn.
Right? Right?
He was going on.
All right. Hey, listen, I hope our paths cross again. I know you're doing the IT thing, but God bless America. If there's internship open and you're wanting to come back, man, I'd love to see you next year.
I'd love to come back next year.
All right, brother. Be easy, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this episode of Making Waves, your TASI Bank podcast. Shout out to Darren San and the San Jose State Spartans and my unofficial sponsor, but they're getting a shout out. Utz Potato Chips, the honey meat barbecue flavor, setting me on fire today.